Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3, 4. You should be able to hear me now, Joe. Can you hear me now? This system's like a woman. It's very sensitive and moody. You should be able to hear me. Okay, thank you, Joe. I don't know of late, man, this system's been cuckoo. All right. Like I said before that you couldn't hear me. Sorry about that. We're going to start where we left off last night. And I've been working this afternoon on some additional exercises for accent development. And I'm not going to go too far with it. You know, you're going to see as you look at the new PDFs, the Joe Morello Master Studies is going to start to appear. Now, what I can do, I mean, I could just keep writing and writing, and I don't want to have diarrhea of the pen. I mean, I'd rather practice, and I haven't been practicing because I'm so involved with this. I need to relax a little bit. Okay, so we're going to be back at the same channel tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, we talked about accenting the vamping patterns, the eighth notes like this, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I wrote out a series of exercises, both with the right. For example, 1, 2, that's line 1, line 2. Sorry, music stands in the way. Let me get comfortable. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. Now, we're going to go to the eighth note triplet, and that's accent development part 2. So I want to start there tonight, if that's okay. All right, we have an eighth note triplet, both the right and the left, vamping. So the right hand is going to be playing this constantly for line 1. 1 and 2, I'm sorry, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you look at the first line, accent development part 2, I'm accenting the downbeat of the triplet. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the. That's to the right side. Then to the left side, 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the. Okay, so we have those two with the downbeat, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now on the second line, we're shifting, instead of the downbeat, we're on the da of the triplet. Line 3 would be 1 and da, 2 and da, 3 and da, 4 and da. Now what I'm doing there is I'm exaggerating the motion. This is what's occurring when you're going to play 2 on the downbeat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, then on the das. Now, there's no whip, so to speak, what they say whip. What it is, it's a pumping motion with the right hand or the elbow and to the side of your body. 1 and 2. That's one sound. I want to get an accent. If I'm playing them up tempo, 3, 4. It's coming from my wrist. I don't have time to whip the stick, but the stick has to come up in a different position. Look at my elbow. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not a whip. It's a pump. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the second, there to the left side. 1. Now I don't know if you can see my left elbow. 1. Same motion, but the elbow is coming in to the side of me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Any questions to this point? It's not a whip. I don't have time for a whip to bring the stick up and bring it down like this. That's too much of a motion. 1, 2, 3, 4, bop. Do we understand that, gentlemen? Yes, no, any questions? We have Joe, myself, and there's 2 other guys. They're not in the chat. Step forward, get in the chat, be recognized, say hello, and where you're from and who you are. I just wanted to review a little bit of the triplet. The next motion I want to go to, all right, and you should have the PDF, is, we don't want part 2, we're going to go to part 3. Okay? Part 3. We're going to do single strokes. Now, we've done single strokes with the turnarounds and whatever. This is just a straight line of 16th notes. 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 1 E and a, equal sound. 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Now you look at the first line, you have the quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to tell me, as the birth of the exercise is that I want to accent the count of 1, 2, 3, 4. How you doing, Ed? Okay, so now I'm just laying it down like this, nice and easy. I'm doing it slow. Everything's coming from my wrist, no arms. I have all my levers working correctly. I'm not stiff, no tension at all. 1 E and a. So now I want to accent the 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to bring it down really slow to show you what is occurring with the motion of the stick. I'm starting off like this. I don't want to be a robot, but this is the starting position. I come down 1, I hit the accent. The E is a tap. The and has to be an upstroke to be in position to hit the up and coming right hand accent. Duh. And does a tap. So you have 1, E, and the. Nice and slow. Nice and relaxed. Let it flow. 3, E, and the. 4, E, and the. That's what's occurring when you're playing that. Now, if I want to pick it up faster, there's no whip, man. I don't know. They get this whip insane. There is no whip when I'm playing. Again, let me reiterate what I said last night about the Moeller system. Sanford Moeller, like I said, was a great musician, and he studied with a Civil War drummer. The Civil War drummers would pound like so. That's where that whip came in, okay? And it's not really a whip. You're not beating the drum. You're playing the drum. Okay, so I have line 1. It's an upstroke, downstroke. Now if I play it up tempo, you watch my elbow on the right hit my side before the accent. That's not a whip, it's a pump. Play a little up tempo, you don't have time for a whip. That's totally ridiculous. All right, we do it to the left side. It's just the reverse. We're 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 1 E and a. Same thing is occurring, but the opposite hand. Now, if you look at line 3 rather, I moved the accent instead of 1, 2, 3, 4 to the ands. So my starting position now is going to be here. Why? Because my first stroke is going to be an upstroke to get in position to hit the up and coming accent on the and. So I have 1, E, and the, 2, E, and the, 3, E, and the, 4, E, and the. We got it? Line 1 is 1, 2, 3, line 2. So I'm moving over from the 1, 2, 3, 4 to all the ands. That's to the right side. Any questions, gentlemen? There's still people watching this that are not in the chat. That upsets me. Say hello, whether you like me or not. Call me a jerk, an ass, or whatever. Or be nice and say, hey, Matt, what's up? Like you did, Ed. Okay, let's go to line number 5. What you're doing now, we just did the accent on the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we did the accent on the ands. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, on line 5, we're going to play the accent on 1 and 3 and. So we have 1 and is an accent, 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so now, we're doing line 5, 16th notes. I have to start here. 1 as a free stroke. 1, E, and the 2, E, and the 3, E, and the 4. Nice and slow. Actually, the slower you do these, the stronger you become. Now, what I'd like to show you is how this particular page, or this section, the part 3, is how it's associated to the first section. The first section we had the accent on 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, now that is what's occurring inside of this. If I do the 16ths, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and leave the lefts out, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E, 4 E and. You gentlemen see that? Do we see that, gentlemen? You understand it? Give me some interaction here, please, so I know that we're on the same page. Do we understand it? Yes or no? And that's associated to all of the exercises. Like now, line 3, I'm on the ands. And the 4 E and the back to 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, line 5 again, the 2 actions. We have a free stroke, tap, down, tap, 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 up, tap. Now I'm not thinking about that when I play. I'm playing it. I just play it because I condition my hands. This is all in Joe Morello's master studies, but it all comes from, believe it or not, the stick control book. And that's where everybody comes from, whether you like it or not. It's page 5, 6, and 7 of the stick control book. And you do see that, right, Joe? Jason, how are you? You see that as well? How that's associated? If I'm doing vamps, there's a reason for me just doing the straight ahead vamps. It's half of a single stroke in 16ths. That's a stick control. Now, I'm devoting this week to some sort of hand technique or accent development, the level system. What I'm showing you and demonstrating and doing slowly is what occurs when you're playing. Jason, tell me, where are you from, Jason? Is this your first time? Okay, that's Matt. Now, Jason, if you want the PDF, okay, if you want the PDFs, I have my email there, mattpatella1001@gmail.com. Just email me and I'll send you all the PDFs that you need. And in addition to that, I'll put you on my mailing list and you will get the week's agenda and the location of the lessons. I have an additional location other than this. Okay? Now, I learned all this from Joe Morello. I mean, it's common sense. I mean, if you analyze it and dissect it, I mean, you know, I'm saying to myself, why is this man who can play take 5, jum gong dum boom bump, showing me this? And if it's explained that it's half of a single stroke roll, you're just practicing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 3 and 4 and 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4. And you can put dynamics in there. Okay, so we're at line 5. And I'm going to do that one nice and slow. What I want to do is we have a free stroke and a downstroke and an upstroke and a tap all inside of that. So it's best to do this slow. And like I said, the slower you do this, the cleaner you're going to play, the stronger you're going to become, and the more relaxed you will because you're certain of what's going on. You're conditioning yourself. Like I said, when I'm playing this particular thing on a snare drum, I'm not thinking of free stroke, tap, down, tap, 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 up, tap. I'm not thinking about that. It's in place. So we're on line 5, and I'm going to do that slow. I'm starting like this. My first stroke, and I'm going to explain what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Okay, you have the first stroke on the first line 5, the 16ths. 1 is a free stroke. Now, I'm not stiff, I'm not whipping, I'm just throwing and it comes back. It's 1. Jason Gianni's a good friend of mine, a great drummer, nice guy, man. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking. I have to teach. We'll talk in a little bit. Okay, so we have the first stroke is a free stroke. Just throw it down, it comes right back. The E of 1 is a tap. The and of 1 is a downstroke. Why is that a downstroke now when the first right was a free stroke? Well, look at the up and coming notes, okay? The next right is not an accent, it's just a tap. 2. The next stroke, the E is a left, it's still a tap. E. Now, the and of 2 has to come up. Why? Now I'm in position now to nail the accent. Now I have the duh of 2, which is a tap. Now I can start all over again. I'm in position. No tension, no uncertainty. It just falls in place. You have 3, E, and the 4. E, and the. Simple. Now, agreed. All right? That I look like a robot. So what? This is an educational platform. I'm showing you what is occurring and what movement is happening with that figure. I mean, I'm not here to demonstrate my abilities. I'm here to teach you to get better so your abilities increase. Simple. Line 5 rather. 1, E, and the 2, E, and the 3, E, and the 4, E, and the. Over and over and over. Okay? So now I'm just going to randomly do 1, 2, 3, and 5 or whatever. Just keeping the bottom, right-sided. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2, and 3, and 4, and no tension, no uncertainty. It flows. That's where you're going with that. Any questions on it? If there are no questions on that, unless you want me to stay here, because I'd like to go to the triplet, alternating the triplet, if that's okay with you gentlemen. That would be, I'm going to be making videos with an extreme explanation of all these particular development exercises, like part 1, part 2, part 3, an explanation in depth. But they will be for purchase on my website. So, with that being said, Sure, Joe, no problem. Let's go to part 4, accent development part 4. Now, here what I'm going to do is I'm going to alternate a triplet. Now, when I start with my right, on the 1 and 3, it's a right hand, and on the 2 and 4, it's a left hand. No accent. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the. When I start with the left hand, it's reversed, and it does make a difference. All right, it's 1 and the. Now the 2 is on 3 and the 4 and the 2 and 4 was with the right. Okay, so now let's go alternate the triplets. I'm counting 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the. This is actually a preliminary exercise for the up and coming triplet, the 16th note triplet. And by the way, we are going to attempt, and I'm going to try to write them all out for you, gentlemen. We're going to attempt a drum set application of some of these. There's no set application. It's something you can do. It's a lot of fun to practice. And, you know, all the fun things that you do and the different ways you practice, a whole lot of doors will open to you. And you'll hear. Okay, the page. All right, I'm sorry, Joe. All right, we're on accent development part 4. We're doing the 8th note triplet. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the. That's how I count the triplet. You can count the triplet 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. I don't particularly care for that because it really, I don't know, it just doesn't make me feel good about it. I count 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the. And again, for subdivisional reasons, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. 1. 4. 1, 2, 3. That's 3 against 4. Okay. So now we have the alternating triple with the right hand. 3, 4. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. 1 and 2 and 3 and now we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4. That's going to be down, up, tap. I'm ready to hit the 2. Down, up, tap. Ready to hit the 3. Down, up, tap. At first, if this is all brand new for you, I would highly recommend. What doesn't flow? What? 1 triplet, 2 triplet? I don't understand that, Jason. Be more, could you elaborate on that? What doesn't flow? Counting the triplet, like 1 triplet, 2 triplet, or 1, 2, 3, 4, bang, 2, 3, 4, 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the dot. Okay, so now we accent into 1, 2, 3, 4. Jason, please elaborate on that. I would appreciate that. Okay, now the first stroke is down, second stroke is up, tap. I'm in position. No tension, just flow. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we go to line 3, and we shift the accent. Now, instead of the 1, 2, 3, 4, we shift the accent to the da of the triplet. 1 and da, 2 and da, 3 and da, 4 and da, 1, da, 2 and da, 3 and 4 and da. So you combine line 1. Yeah, I don't like the way it flows, 1 triplet. I mean, it's not wrong. If that's what you want to use it. If it works for you. For me, I just dislike it. I'm so accustomed to 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4. It flows, especially when I'm playing jazz time. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4. It's difficult for me actually because I'm not accustomed to it. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1. That doesn't sound very musical. I'd rather be mathematical. Okay, so now I'm going to combine the first line, the triplet on the 1, the accent on the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the accent on the da. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, it must look like what I'm doing with the triplet at that particular tempo. It looks like I am whipping, but I'm not. Again, it's the pump. Wherever they come up with this whip, I don't know. It's a pump into the side of your body. Now, I dislike everybody calling molar, whatever that is. It's not molar, it's not stone, it's not goober, whatever his name is, Ruber or whatever. It's the laws of physics. You can't fight them, you have to go with it. If you fight the laws of physics, you're going to lose and you're going to create tension. Okay, we understand the triplet. One more is line 5. We have on line 5 now, we're swinging that. Instead of going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, we're doing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so now the triplet is going to be accented, the alternating triplet on the 1 and the da of 1, the 3 and the da of 3. Now here something happens. You need to get a free stroke in there, only because you're setting yourself up in a position to nail the accent. 1 and the, 2 and the, 3 and the, 4 and the. Get it? Now, I didn't put in there downstroke tap, free stroke, upstroke, or whatever, only because it would look a little cluttered. And actually, here's the way you really would learn this. You understand what has to be a downstroke, a free stroke, a tap, and an upstroke. And if you play it wrong, what's going to happen? It's going to smack you. And that's a good thing. You know, when you're not understanding this. If it smacks you, you're going to correct it until you get it right. So it's not visible like the sticking pattern or the accent or the notation. The levels are there. You need to put them in place. If you're wrong, like I said, it's going to come off the page and smack you. Say, no, 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 because now you're going to see yourself not in position. If you do a free stroke like this, and you should be doing a tap, the next stroke with the right, you're wrong. So it's going to teach you, okay, all right, how to be right. You know, it's the only system. It's not, you know, it's not field drumming, which is a totally different thing. This is the art of drumming. It's the laws of physics and how to get your sound. This is extremely basic. This is what occurs when you're playing this kind of stuff. Now, when I'm playing this kind of stuff to a tune, I don't think about a downstroke, a tap, and upstroke because it's in place. And it's a natural movement. The same thing with the stick control book. If it's practiced correctly, it's a natural flow. The same thing with Joe Morello's Master Studies 1 and Master Studies 2. It's all natural. The positioning of the notes, the sticking heights, it's all natural. These are the conditioning exercises. Joe Morello's book, Master Studies 1, is just an expansion or an extension of stick control book. If you know the stick control book has no accents in it. Now, I exaggerate a lot sometimes, and I say I have about 10,000 different ways to do page 5, 6, and 7. You know, if you want the PDFs, email me. You know, I got email from somebody. Can you send me the 10,000 different ways to do the stick control book? Hello. I mean, I have a multitude of ways to do them, and I'm not going to give them out. You know, it's time for me to make a little bit of change, you know, so I could keep this thing going. Like I said, I'm going to make instructional videos that they're going to be available for purchase, reasonable, like $1.52, $2.50, maybe $5 the most, on my website. And you'll get a PDF with each lesson. But anyway, all right, I'm not going to go into the last one because the last one, which is, I think, 7, no, I mean, 5 rather. Let me see what 5 is. Wait a minute. I have so much things going on here. Unless you want me to stay with 4 for a little bit. I want to go to the 16th note triplet. Now, if you want to advance to the 16th note triplet, by the time, you're playing quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, eighth notes, 1, 2, 3, 4. You're playing eighth note triplets, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, one thing about the 16th note triplet, I don't count one triplet, or one or and. That's ridiculous. I feel this triplet. I count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, for each count, I'm getting 3 strokes, alternating. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? Now, there's something here that I want to make you aware. Who's that? Ken. How you doing, Ken? In 1 second. What I want you to be aware of here, I'm counting the triplet. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, I want to drop my bass drum, which I don't, the bass drum is behind me. We're going to do a drum set application of this. But we're counting the 16th note triplet as 1 and 2 and 4 and. You don't want to get this confused with groupings of 6. There's a slight difference and a hell of a different feel. When I'm playing the 16th note triplet, it's 6 strokes to the downbeat. 1 and. 1 and 2 and. If I'm playing a grouping of 6, it's 1 and 2 and 3. It's a different feeling, but it's the same amount of notes. So you have to be careful with that. Okay, let's go to the page, part 5. We have the quarter note, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to be the quarter note, 1, 2, 3, 4 will be accented. Now, I'm not going to exaggerate the motion. I'm going to flow the motion. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. By this time, what you should do, or be able to do, is feel that. Now, you don't want to go from page 1 to groupings of accent development part 1 to part 5 immediately. You need to feel that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. I still get that triplet feel in there. These are 16th note triplets. Now, I go to line 3, and it shifts to the accent. So now I have, instead of the accent on 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to accent all the ands. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So if I combine number 1 and number 2, all right, 1 measure each, all right? 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. Now, you can do a lot of reading from the syncopation book. Who's that, Ken? Ken, how long have you been here? This computer drives me cuckoo. How long have you been here, Ken? Did you just get here? All right, my website, if you email me. I'll give you the site now. I don't know if YouTube will let me do that. That's the website. Now, I'm not really hanging out there too much of late. I will be going back there starting next week, 1 or 2 nights. Like I said to everybody, and this is not necessary, but it would be nice and I would appreciate it. I'd like to do 2 streams a day. 1 in the early afternoon and still 1 at 7:30, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's 8 streams. That's 8 streams a week. Now, I am giving it away. It's because I love what I do. But if you're in any of the Facebook groups, I put a question and answer thing there that I like to address. If they ask me a question in the art of drumming or the stick control formulas or the rudimental, apply to rudiments or the syncopation book or Shafee's room or Morello's room, I like to address the questions live. Okay. Now, what I asked for, and it's not necessary, is there some sort of donation? You know, $1, $2. You don't have to send it every time you come see a lesson. Maybe once in a great while. $1, $2, $3, $5, whatever you can afford. It would be greatly appreciated. You can send it to my PayPal account. All you need to do is put my name and my email. What did you think? Joe, it's not that people are flakes. It's that, they want things for free, which is fine. I'm not complaining, but I think it would be really nice. I send over 300 people, okay, all these PDFs. Do you know maybe out of those 300 people, maybe 10 email me back and say, thank you? Isn't that nice? What happened to the other 290? And then if I don't send it to them, I get an email. I say, hey, how come I didn't get a PDF today? There you go. Okay. You could have left that Joe. You could have left that message there, and you're absolutely correct. I agree with that. Okay. It's late. It's after 8. Tomorrow we're going to do on the drum set. Okay? We are going to definitely do some sort of application. I can't do all of them because they're not really good for the drum set. What we'll do is we'll do the 8th note triplet, the 16th note triplet, and the 16th notes, and we'll move them around the drum set, sort of. All right, and then, that would, what's this? What is this? That's right, you deleted it. It's gone, Joe. Thank you, Ken. I appreciate that. It doesn't matter, Joe. You say what you want to say. There's nothing inappropriate or appropriate when you feel something in your heart. You say it because that's what you mean. If people think it's inappropriate, hey, if they think it's appropriate, good. Who cares? You're saying what you feel. It's like when you sit behind a drum set. You're playing a tune, unrehearsed. Just a standard straight ahead jazz tune, a moment's notice. Ba-da-ba-ba, ba-do-boo-dee-dow, You're playing what you hear, what you feel. That's appropriate. Okay, anyway, I'm going to leave unless you have questions. Remember, those donations would help. $1, $2, $3, $5, whatever. Once in a great while. And you don't have to, but it would be nice. And Ken, email me. Jason, email me. And I will send you some PDFs. Okay? And you'll also get for the week, the agenda, the time and locations of the lessons, and PDFs for the lessons. All right, well, that'll be tomorrow night, Jason. You come see us tomorrow night. You're welcome anytime. Okay. Oh, let me do this. This was for last night. The para triplet. Everybody's playing triplets as in either eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, paradiddle, or 16ths, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. Now a para triplet is I'm doing eighth note triplets, 1 and a 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the. I'm counting that. I'm playing eighth note triplets. However, what I'm doing is I'm using a paradiddle sticking. I'm going to do it slow. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4. And again, on the left side now, 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the. Now, what I said, if you want to really get into that, do Joe Morello's or Dave Stanik's table of time. Joe Morello's master studies is a table of time. He goes from quarter notes to groupings of 12, and then back to the quarter notes, or reverse it, or whatever you want. Use double sticking, use right, right, left, left, or use a paradiddle, maintaining the first stroke of the paradiddle as an accent. Now, what I'm going to do, and this is for Joe. Joe is the one who requested it, but I will put it into the PDFs, the para triplet, and I will do the table of time and present to you the sticking, the paradiddle sticking, maintaining the accent. It gets a little hairy after the 4. Who is this, Dave? Well, let me tell you something, guys. All right, Dave. My lessons are at 7:30, and you can watch it. It's being recorded, but try to get here by 7:30. There's a lot, to say. I'm trying to teach, but I'm also talking to the guys in the chat. I love questions. Well, I'm glad, Ken. You said you're 56. You practice every day, and yeah, the pads are okay. Now, the George Lawrence Stone, you know, the guy was brilliant, man. I mean, he just everything is off that out of that book. Everything, I can show you rock patterns, jazz patterns, polyrhythms, linear concepts, all from 5, 6, and 7. Okay. Now, somebody put a video on you in one of the drumming groups. It made no sense to me. The guy, I just don't want to waste my time. He's trying to explain the difference between hitting on a drum pad and hitting on a snare drum. You shouldn't practice on a drum pad. You should only practice on a snare drum. Well, I totally agree, 1,000,000%. A drum pad is part of your instrument. It's part to work things out. That's how you practice. You want to practice paradiddles on a snare drum? Go with it. That's fine. That's what you play on. Now, there's a difference between practicing and playing. Practicing, which you're doing. See you, Jason. Come back tomorrow night. Yep, the timing most definitely. Dave is way out. I used to have a couple students from Australia, and they're a day ahead. Right now it's Wednesday in the United States. It's Thursday now. I don't know what time it is there. What time is it in Australia at the moment? I'll continue this conversation later. But what time is that? And Jason, email me. Dave, email me. Ken, email me. What time is it in Australia at the moment? Here it's 8:15 in the evening. I don't know the time difference. See, that's why if I did say a lesson every day at 1 o'clock, I could service people from Europe, France, or wherever, or South America, or Australia. And 7:30 to people from the East Coast. It's in the morning, huh? Okay. That's what? That's 10, that's 12, 13, 14-hour difference in a day. Sorry, 14-hour difference. So if you were to come at 7:30, it would be 9:30 in the morning. Well, I only can go daily if I get some sort of contribution once in a while. Okay, again, if you want to contribute or do a donation, it's not necessary, but it would be nice. Okay, all you have to do is send it to my PayPal account. Use my email, mattpatella1001 @gmail.com. You don't have to do it every lesson, maybe once in a great while. But when I have 80,000 people watching, a dollar here, a dollar there really adds up. And it could help me pay for my stream, pay for my electric. It gives me time, maybe even to get an AV guy, an audio video guy with different camera views. But we will be working on the drum set tomorrow night, gentlemen. Both drum set and drum pad. So with that all being said, what I'm going to do is sign out and see everybody tomorrow at the same time, the same channel, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope you can make it, Dave and Ken and everybody else who attended tonight. So guys, have a good night.